to be one of the top 2 D tackles in the league, a team is going to take you out. That's what Aaron Donald, and that's what you go through when you get that title put on you. That's just, and you got to accept it, and you got to fight through it, and you got to be mad. If they put 2 on me, I'm going to be 2, right? But like I said before, it's Dex accepting that, which he's done. It's myself and Shane coming up with ways to help him, and it's his teammates making plays to help him. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not an easy answer to say, you got to go find another superstar guy to line up next to him to make that happen. You know, how many teams have that? You probably can't even count it on one hand, right? So we got to deal in the reality. The reality is, what's the best way to try to help him out? And those are the answers of how to help him out.
What are some of the ways you and Shane can help him out?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that, right? Wait for Sunday, right? It's not my first barbecue. I've had some of the top D tackles in the league that I've coached. It's not my first time going through this, so I understand what we have to do to help him. I understand what he has to do to help himself. And that's what we've worked on this week. We've worked on, Shane's come up with great ideas to come up with things to help him. I've had ideas, and I've put the pressure on our other guys that they have to step up to. But you just can't put it all on the other guys. We as coaches have to do our job to help him too. And that's what you go through.
How did, you said you coached some of the top defensive tackles. How did you enjoy coaching Leonard Williams? What was his mark here?
No, I enjoyed Leo. Tremendous person, great football player. I have all the respect in the world for him. I wish him nothing but the best, except for when we play on Sunday. But great player. Great player.
How did you see to the level of this past weekend, Dex, I guess, handling that double team and like the conversations you guys have on the sidelines when that's happening in real time?
Yeah, no, he handled it great. I mean, he handled it great. It wasn't a surprise to him. He's been doubled a lot in every game we've played, okay? That one was just the volume of it, you know what I'm saying? And the other thing, too, that happened in that game, I think, is the ultimate respect to our group, is that's the most I've ever seen Dak quick throw. You know what I mean? Most of those balls were out in 2.3. They were out. So that makes it difficult for the front to affect them when the ball's coming out that fast. You can put the quarterback in shotgun and not even put an offensive line up there. And he can catch the ball and he can get it out before they can get to him. And so they did a nice job of their quick passing game and getting the ball out, which is different for the Cowboys because Dak's known for deep shots down the field, and they didn't take very many of those against us. And I think that they showed a respect for our defensive front.
How have you seen, I guess, given what he's facing, Dak, fight through that, or just his leadership quality kind of?
No, his leadership is great. He's in a great frame of mind. I mean, after the game, he was more upset that we lost and he got doubled so many times. He just, he wants to win and he wants to do whatever he can to help the team win. And he understands, hey, if I'm getting 2, if I'm getting 3, then somebody else has a chance to be free or truly has a one-on-one. And, I think his biggest thing was not what was happening to him, is that we had a chance to win the game and we didn't win the game. And I think that's more of his focus.
When you have a player of that caliber who is so good, Pro Bowl type, but has lost so much over his career, do you see that weigh on him? I mean, the way you say that kind of affects him, and just balancing that.
Yeah, I think it could. And I think you got to ask Dex. I don't want to speak for him on that. But I think, I try to tell the players, you play, you fight, you give it all you got for 60 minutes, you accept the results, and then you put everything, all the chips on the table for the next week to go play again. And you got to let the last one go, and you move into the next one. And all you got to do is you got to try to win one. And you win that one, and you rally up for the next week, and you try to win another one, and you start to stack them. And that's what the NFL is all about. And so we just try to keep our mind focused on that.
What have you seen from Elijah over just his, a quarter through the rookie season?
He works hard. He's getting better every single week. He's a normal rookie. Rookies are going to make rookie mistakes. But he's helped us in games. I think he's been a good complement to Dex, inside on third down. And he's going to continue to get better and improve. It's all in front of him.
When you say good compliment, I guess, where do you see the two of them together?
Well, I think the one thing that, even though Chad is an undersized guy, he's powerful and strong, and he's got the ability to put a dent in the pocket. You know, on Burnsy's sack fumble in Cleveland, all right? The reason why Burnsy was able to knock the ball out of the quarterback's hand is because Chad knocked the guard so far back that the quarterback couldn't step up, and he had to take a step back. And that's why Burnsy was able to come behind him and knock the ball out. And so, you know, those are the things that are unseen. And so that's why I say all the time, it is more important for us to affect the quarterback than to sack the quarterback. Because affecting the quarterback computes to winning games. You know what I mean? Now, sacks compute to them getting paid. So it's two different things, right? And so me as the coach, I want to win. I want to get paid too, but I want to win. So I put more emphasis on us affecting the quarterback, and the sacks come when they come.
Separate from whether Malik will play Sunday, I know that's a big thing, but what have your big picture impressions been of him?
I think it's early, but certainly, he's performed very well, and excited about the things that we can continue to improve on, and in his growth just after 4 games. So, talking about 4-game sample size, which isn't a whole lot, but excited about the way he's gotten off to a good start. Yeah.
We all see, physically how he plays, but he mentioned after the Cleveland game how earlier that week he had come to Brian Dable with, an idea, something he had noticed on film. Like, so we see this stuff out here, but like, what do you see behind the scenes about his kind of how the gears turn?
Football, is, I don't want to say it comes easy to him because that would diminish the work that he puts in, but he understands the game of football and sees it, maybe differently than a lot of guys do, but I think that's a strength of his.
It feels like a lot of Wandale's routes are actually run short of the sticks, and you guys just count on him a lot to make the first guy miss. What is that about him that you guys have that belief that
I think he doesn't have the league in broken or missed tackles, so I think there's evidence out there. Why is he good at it?
Yeah.
That's the way he's built. Yeah, I mean, he's compact, he's got great lower body strength, he's got short area quickness, and he's got good awareness of the situation, and something that we've emphasized too, and just really putting a big emphasis on run after catch, and I think he's taken it to heart and done a great job with it.
What's the next step? Again, I understand, the concussion thing separate. Just like when he gets back, Malik, what do you think his particular next steps are?
In what way, Daryl?
Like, how can he get better? I know he's really good, and everyone's saying,
this kid's I'm never going to talk about that stuff with you guys. Sorry. I understand the question, but I wouldn't put that out there for you guys then to, like, well, he didn't do this,
No, I understand that. But I guess generally speaking, with a young receiver,
right?
Where's the learning curve in your experience? Like,
I think,
as you see a year go on,
right? I think it's seeing NFL defenses, seeing how teams are going to adjust to how they want to play him, but continue to let the game come to him, route discipline, making sure that we're straining the run game, fitting on the right guys that we got to get blocked in the run game. All core fundamentals to wide receiver play that. When you say, hey, we got to go back and we got to get better at this, that, and the other, it's not just a Malik thing. It's talking about all the guys in the group.
You talked over the years, both Daniel and Slayton, a lot about their personal and professional connection. They came in together and all that.
Yeah.
Do you see that, feel that when you're talking to Slayton or just out in the field?
I think it's a lot more than that, than just two guys that have come in together. I mean, they've put a lot of time together out there on the field. I think there's a trust, is what you're alluding to. And certainly that's built up over time. You don't walk out the first day and have that from your quarterback. And Slay has been smart. He's been tough. He's been very dependable. He's done everything that we've asked. He's been a true pro. Just puts his head down and goes to work and does everything that we ask him to do, no matter what the role is, and is prepared for anything each and every week and has demonstrated performance. He makes plays in games. So if I was playing quarterback, those are all qualities that I would look for.
I think some of the guys said coming out of the Cowboys game was there was communication issues in the run game. What did you see, and how do you clean that up?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things that we could have done better, just in the sense of tracking to the right people, perhaps, or scheme-wise, maybe try to dress up a play a little differently that I could have done a better job on. So I think we all look at it, and I think we all had a piece of it, and coaches included, and we all know that we got to improve on that.
What do you think your group is overall? Like, when you look at it, what stands out to you?
I think it's a group that likes to come to work. I think they like one another. They work hard. I think any offensive line in the NFL is going to be working to improve throughout September and October. That's just the nature of the NFL. You're not a finished product by any means. They embrace that. They know that there's areas we need to improve on and come to work every day to do that.
I was kind of thinking I was wondering, do you look at it as, hey, we're doing good on the pass protection side? I know it's not perfect in your mind, but we could do better in the run. Like what sticks in your mind?
I think it's pretty obvious that we can improve. The most glaring area we can make improvement on is in the run game. We all know that, but we're not satisfied within our pass protection either. So I think it's something that got to get better at, and I think that goes across the board, not just the offensive line men, but all of us. We got a piece in it too.
I think it's in the summer, he talked about how he likes having a run game variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the balance of that, of being able to do a bunch of things or leaning into what you're good at?
I think you need to make sure your run game is something that you're capable of doing. It's SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. I do see the value in having an offense run scheme that can attack multiple areas with multiple schemes, the challenges that it can present to the defense, also with speed, tempo to the line, things like that. So I'm a firm believer in that. And I agree with Dave's 100%.
When you look at where you guys need to get better in the run game, has it been a communication thing, or just kind of a misassignment thing, or just a physical getting beat thing, or what?
I think the players said it best too. I know for preparation for this, they gave me dreaming notes, and I think we all agree. It's like we've all taken a turn in it. Whether I schemed up a poor play, whether somebody went the wrong way, whether we targeted the wrong way, whether we had a poor technique. It's not one thing in particular. It's a group of things, and it'll take all of us, to get it right too. So,
Obviously, motor's banged up. How much of a difference is it for the guys with style-wise, at least with Tyrone versus Motor, if at all?
Plays in anything, and for us at least up front, we got to get a hat in a hat with the proper leverage and finish to the echo of the whistle, and that'll handle itself.
What makes Seattle's front so good against the run?
They're big, powerful guys. They play with good leverage with their pad level and then with their technique. So they're talented. Their linebackers can really run and cover. The safeties are good tacklers and they'll be down in there. So it's just a good stout front. It's a great one of those places you love to play at. Just the fans. I mean, you can relish in that because it's a great atmosphere. But they're stout up front.
Have you guys cross-trained Evan Neal at guard at all yet?
I think Evan's doing a great job of just working at the right tackle position and getting himself in a position to help the team. He does everything we ask. He's been doing extra, which we really enjoy. And he seems to be in a good spot. I'm really pleased with where he's at.
Can this time be good for Evan, just to work individually? Can this practice time, he's had so many injuries, just the chance to practice every day, can this be good for him in his future?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think for any player that, has been injured early in his career, to have some time to be able to just get himself healthy and then just work himself back into the mix, I think that's exactly what he's done.
But he is clearly only working at right tackle right now.
Thus far, yeah.
Do you think he could help you in the running game, even if as maybe like a sixth extra lineman? Because he does run block very well.
I've been a big believer in using jumbos in the past. I think it's like anything, does the scheme match? Hey, this week it could be good. Certainly has his strengths and his weaknesses like all of us. I think it's something not so much as a personnel thing, but what do you anticipate that team actually doing?
How is he physically? Is he 100%?
He's great. Yeah, it's been great.
Why not work him a guard?
Pardon me?
Why not work him a guard?
Because I think his natural position is tackle, and I think that's what we're emphasizing. You want to see him, what he can do and what he can be. He's been the guy that was injured in the spring, came into training camp PUP. Like, it's been 2 weeks. I mean, why not just see what he can be at right tackle, which I think he feels comfortable at as well, as do I.
You guys are obviously fortunate that you haven't had any injury. I'll knock on wood for you.
Come on,
But who is your swing tackler? We haven't, had to see that. Just curious, do you have?
I think we know where our tackles are, and if an injury occurs, then we've got game plan for it, and we'll go to there.
Does Jermaine take any reps at left tackle in case of emergency, or does he stay just at right side?
It's funny. I've been blessed. Jermaine has had to go over a couple times, and he and I have been here, and he's gone and played left tackle, and he's done a great job doing it. I think we won both games that he did. So he's a unique individual that he can do both.
How have you seen Jason Pinnock grow in your time here?
Yeah, when we got him here, like the first thing you see is his explosive ability. the physical traits, and you're like, wow, he is dynamic, really explosive, really twitchy. And then when you get around the kid, you see how important football is to him and what a good person he is. And over the time, he's developed into a leader. He's developed into a solid, reliable guy for us. So just so excited for where he came from, thinking about getting him as a guy who was released by another team and to get him the way we got him and to see him grow now into being a starter and a key contributor, just excited for him. But it's just a testament to the kid, I think, and who he is.
How have you seen him mesh with Newbin? Because the two of them seem to be together an awful lot.
They are together a lot. They sit beside each other in the meeting room. They're always talking. And, I think it's a good marriage, so to speak. Newbin is like the puppy who wants to go, let's go, and wants information and really hard on himself and is a natural communicator. And those two working together has been really good for us.
It sounds simple, but if it was simple, you probably would have fixed it. With Tay finding the ball in the air, how do you get him to make that next step, that progress? Yeah, we're working on it all the time. Just trying to get him to understand that, when you're on a number one guy, even when he's covered to the quarterback's mind, he's not covered. And so you have to anticipate, no matter how good the coverage is, the ball's coming right now, every play. And the one play you don't is the one play they get you. And, to be honest, he's been a victim of that a little bit, like those big plays that have hurt us. And, we got to find a way to not relax there, to find a way to make it. And some of it's not relaxing. It's just been really good plays by really good players. But we got to find a way that we start getting those balls on the ground, or we catch those balls and we make the quarterback think about, well, maybe I shouldn't go there now. Maybe that's not a good idea.
So some of it's just a focus thing?
Again, some of it is I'm on a really good player. It's really tight. I'm on him. I just got to know the ball is coming. Yeah. And even when I know the ball is coming, sometimes those really good number one receivers still make the catch, against really good players. We have to just continue to fight, scratch, and claw that we get those balls on the ground, or we catch those balls in those situations.
Yeah, because if you're on a lesser receiver and you got him covered, you're probably thinking in your head, they're not coming here because I got him covered, right?
But on those number one guys, even if they're covered, they're not covered. You watch the catches. You watch the first play of the game last week against Detroit, and the corner sees the ball. He's in position to make it, and he still throws it. And the big dude goes up, taps and catches it, and that's another number one corner on on a number one receiver. And you want to get that ball on the ground. You gotta know that ball's coming. Whether I got him, he was in great position. The other kid was, and the quarterback still threw it, and he came down with it, and that's going to happen some. More than that, we got to get the ball on the ground.
You obviously haven't backed off of him, though. You still travel number one receivers every week. Is there any point where you say, is this too much, this assignment?
Well, we'll see this week if he travels. We'll see how this game plays out and what the plan is this week. But every week, we're kind of looking at matchups and who's the best fit, even at the money spot, the nickel spot, who we have available. Who's the best matchups. So every week we go through that process, and it changes a little bit every week.
What did you think of how he finished the play on Lamb's touchdown?
Didn't like it. Like nothing about it.
What in particular bothered you about it?
When your man catches the ball, you have to break your legs to, not literally, but figuratively, break your legs to get him on the ground for us. And I thought there was room to do more. And we expect it from him, and he expects it from himself, but in that moment, he failed in that moment. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Jerome, when you see a guy like Julian Love make a Pro Bowl and get a big contract, is there a part of you that's like, man, I wish we still had him?
No, just excited for Julian. Again, Julian's one of those people that like if, and all of you know this about him, like you love the kid and you cheer for him. Like other than when we play him this weekend, I cheer for Julian Love. He is such a good man, such a good human. He made such an impact in this building. Contract stuff happen and guys come and go, but you still root for the guy other than when we play him.
Is it with Banks? Is it concerning to you in regard to that play in particular that you're having to like coach effort?
Again, at any time your man catches the ball, even especially when your man catches the ball, get him on the ground. Get him on the ground. Let us play one more snap. Give us a chance to have a goal line stand, and you owe that to the team. You owe that to the organization, and it's my job to get him to do it.
Are you certain that message was delivered and received?
I'm certain it was delivered. I think it was received. We'll see.
Tyler's angle on that play. I mean, is that just a learning experience for a rookie against a great player? Or what?
It's one of those things that we had a similar play in practice with Tyler the other day, where for him, again, he's that young puppy who wants to get there, and sometimes I need to have a little more control as I go. There are times where I can't go over there so frantic. I have to be a little more measured in my approach because of the space, especially space on a really good player. And he's got to learn that lesson of when can I full throttle run through versus I got to tempo myself a little bit here because of the space and the player and his ability so that I get him on the ground for sure.
Yeah. It's like a scheme question, I guess, but who determines the cushion the corners give? Is that up to the play call, the player himself? Like
sometimes play a little bit of play call, player, sometimes like all combination of things.
Shea, when a quarterback is as reliant on somebody for target share as Daniel has been for Neighbors, I'm not asking if Neighbors is playing, if he doesn't play, what changes?
Yeah, I don't think anything changes as far as our thought process. We're always going through our reads, really no matter who's out there. You can't just sit there and when you're playing that spot, you can't just sit there and say, I'm forcing the ball this way or that way. You got to trust the reads, trust what the defense is doing, who they're trying to take away, who they're not trying to take away. And, the biggest thing we've been saying the last really 3-4 weeks is just take the completions. So I don't think anything changes from our standpoint. We're just going to trust our progressions, trust the system, and go through it that way.
It doesn't seem like Daniel is running as much as I remember Daniel running. Is that because he's not as comfortable running after everything he's been through? Is that you guys trying to ease back on that so you don't get your quarterback killed?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, if you look at the stats at the end of the day, I think they say that. But if you go back and look at the games, he's had 3 or 4 runs that have been called back for penalties. So I think that tells a different story. He's more than comfortable to do any of that. He's done a good job with it. I think the other part of it might be, he's just more comfortable back there getting the ball out of his hands. But it's been there when we've had it. It just hasn't shown up.
Scrambling.
Yeah, it just hasn't shown up in the stats because the designed ones have come back. I think, like I said, it would tell a different story if those, I think on 3 or 4 of them that he has, which is, we played 4 games, so 1 a game, and a couple of them were big runs. So I think those things would be a little different, if there wasn't something called on them.
Over the years, we've talked to both Daniel and Slayton about their personal and professional connection. Do you hear that too from Daniel when you're watching, planning? Just do you sense that also that they've been together a long time now? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. They've been together for a long time. I'm not 100% on this, but I think they came in either right around the same time or same class. Yeah. So everywhere I've been, when a receiver has come in with a quarterback in the same class, there is always a little bit more of a connection there. And Daniel's probably looking around that room and, he sees that face and it's the most familiar one. So I think that happens kind of organically, and it's good for them to continue that. Slay's been a big part of our offense since we've been here for the last 2 years, and he'll continue to be. So that connection definitely helps.
What have you seen from his deep balls this year in practice? I know that's been a huge topic of conversation, whether it's underthrow, kind of overthrow.
Yeah, I think he said it best. We talked about it. Sometimes it's like you're a golfer. You get out there and first 3 balls off the tee, you slice, and they're going right. And your next thing is, all right, well, I'm definitely not going right on this one. And you overcompensate and, pull it left. And I think just a little bit probably that of just some overcompensation of missing ones early, maybe long. So then you're like, all right, I got to dial it back a little bit, and you dial it back too much, the overcompensation. So I don't think it's a big thing. I think it's just, again, trusting, his fundamentals, trusting his ability to rip it and get the ball out there. So, yeah, that was kind of the exact same conversation I had with him, just the overcompensation of things.
How can you, as a coach, like when it's kind of mental like that, when you're overcompensating, I guess, how can you help him to trust it? I know that sounds like a basic question.
I think you just make them aware of it. When it's a mental thing, it's more about awareness than anything, mechanically. You just want to give reminders, not overdo it. You don't want to say it on every single one of them, because then, you're going back and forth, right? It's like a big pendulum swing. So there's a balance to it, like there is anything. You just try to have the right timing of when you throw that reminder in there, know when to back off. And look, he's a hyper-aware kid. I don't think I have to do much in that regard with him. I think he'll kind of fix that naturally.
When did you have that conversation, or the last kind of reminder?
Last couple of days. I couldn't, I
guess the golf analogy.
Probably last week sometime. It's been a while since we played.